nervous because I'm here now.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host James Haskell. And this episode, we are going to recap Week 2 of the NFL and recap our pick'em. Obviously, I was able to pull off a narrow victory in Week 1, very narrow, came down to score difference in the Monday night game. So let's see how this week goes. But before we get started, please just take a second, click the subscribe button, give us a like. And we appreciate if you want to interact more, please check out our Patreon. Jimmy, get us started in Week 2.
Yeah, Week 2, an eventful week, certainly. We're going to start off with the Thursday night game, the matchup between the Ohio teams, Bengals and Browns. If I'm not mistaken here, we both went Browns, and we were both correct.
Yeah,
Baker bounced back.
Go ahead.
He looked good.
Yeah.
What were your take?
Yeah, I thought it was closer than I thought. I thought Joe Burrow looked like the best quarterback on the field, and I love how everyone's like, the Browns have, they got it now. Him and Odell and Baker are on the same page. He had 4 catches. I mean, let's not overstate what their connection, because I heard Joe Thomas call them lockstep. Like 4 catches. I mean, if you're going to put up 12 grabs or what Hopkins did, 14 grabs Week 1, they're lockstep. 4 grabs, I don't know about that, but give them credit. They bounced back. They got a win you have to have at home against a Bengals team that's coming off of a one win or 2-win team or season.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was a needed win, but honestly, it didn't instill any more confidence in the Browns going forward.
Yeah. All right, so let's keep this thing moving. I agree with you there. So we agreed. The next game, I have Giants and Bears. I believe we both agreed on this game as well. Went with the Chicago Bears. And, of course, the big news out of this game, Chicago won 17-13, relatively ugly game. Big news is that the Bears are the weakest 2-0 team in the NFL, and that Saquon Barkley's knee got destroyed. Tore an ACL. Really sad to see that. He was the entire team. There's no way they win 3 games this season.
I don't know how they win any.
A single game.
They are so bad offensively. When you have no offensive line, I don't care how good your running back is. I don't care. People can get on Donnie Football, old Donnie Football all they want, but he's got no offensive line and virtually no weapons outside. He's got Ingram. I mean, Golden Tate's, I guess, he's got some serviceable players on the outside with Sterling and Golden Tate, but that offensive line has just got awful, and I don't see it getting any better. Bears win.
Opt out, and it's just been terrible for them.
Yeah, that hurt. So Bears win 17-13. And then moving on to the game that, this game's very personal to me, Jimmy, because it cost me a couple of dollars. And the Falcons had it, and then they had the biggest collapse. Let me just say this. They lost 4. The Falcons lose to the Cowboys 40-15 in a game in which they found themselves up.
40-15.
40-39. I'm sorry. What the heck did I say 15 for? 40-39 in a comeback for the ages. I mean, a game that will be talked about in Cowboy legend for quite some time, because the Falcons, they had to win this game. 440 teams, Jimmy, have found themselves in the same position as the Falcons, being up by the same amount with the same time remaining in the game, and all 440 had won previously until this. So they're 440-1 as the Cowboys complete the epic comeback, get an onside kick where Hayden Hurst, former Raven, is standing around looking at the ball.
Just froze.
Somebody jump on the ball, and they get the improbable onside kick, and then they end up completing it with the field goal to win by 1 point. Unbelievable. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, unbelievable. My only thoughts were I'm glad I had Calvin Ridley and Ezekiel Elliott on my fantasy team.
Yeah, no doubt.
Incredible game. I mean, one for the ages, like you said. I was just watching the score and then decided to flip back to it because I was like, what is going on over here? And, pretty crazy. I'm still the Cowboys are an absolute quagmire to me. I have no idea what's going on over there. Can't figure out if they're good or bad.
Yeah. And I don't know how the Falcons still have a head coach.
Yeah, seriously. So, all right. So we agreed on all those. The next one, Lions, Packers. Packers double up the Lions, 42-21. Speaking of head coaches, don't know how the Lions haven't gotten rid of their current head coach and started looking, because I just think that he is
not buying into Patricia?
Not buying into Patricia at all. The rocket scientists, done with it.
Well, they jumped out to a nice little lead and had some Packer fans a little worried, but it flipped quickly and the Packers didn't look back. It'll be interesting to see if they get Galladay back for Detroit to see if that helps. But yeah, Detroit their week 1 win was devastating, and then this one they get up early and end up getting blown out. It's a tough time to be a Lions fan.
Yeah, but let's move on to the next one though, because this was our first disagreement, right? I picked the Vikings in the Vikings Colts game, and let me tell you what, I am done with Kirk Cousins. I'm done deciding. I'm done wavering. Is he good? Is he not good? He is the most overpaid, below average performing quarterback. Hey, more power to him, because value is what somebody's willing to pay you. I guess he's worth that much money because there's a sucker born every day, and that sucker is the Vikings organization. So they got spanked. He threw 3 interceptions. They got beat 28-11. What kind of score is 11?
Yeah, their offense has been extremely disappointing. I thought with Kubiak taking over that they'd make a next step, actually.
And I don't blame Kubiak.
Okay, well, that's fair. I mean, I think he has to shoulder some of the blame with these 2 offensive performances through the first 2 weeks, especially when you consider they do have some good talent. But the problem is, on both sides of the ball, they have no line. Yeah. They lost to Neil Hunter. That's just been devastating. Everson Griffin's out the door. They have no offensive and no defensive line, and you can't win. Like we just said, you can't. It doesn't matter how good your skill positions if you can't block or stop the run on defense. They can't do it. So Colts get a win, and they needed a win.
There. Good for you on that one. You're up 1-0 at this point. I'm interested to see how this turns out. But gosh, dude, how terrible are the freaking Vikings? How terrible is NFC North? All right, so Bills Dolphins. We both picked the Bills here. Bills won this game 31-28. And I'm not ready to put Josh Allen in the MVP conversation yet, like a lot of people are. I realize it's only week 2, but I'm not going there. He's not my top 3 or top 5 MVPs. And we agreed there as well. Any thoughts on that game?
Well, I think it's confusing to know what the Dolphins are because they played 2 pretty good teams already, and they took them both right up to the limit. But they're 0-2 in the end, so they're confusing. I'm wondering how long Fitzmagic stays at the helm. I can't wait to see what Tua's got. But Fitzpatrick did not play that bad. Again, I mean, he played pretty well. He threw for 328 yards and 2 touchdowns. He played bad in week 1. But as far as the Bills go, Josh Allen, I don't know how he's not in your playoff or in your MVP discussion thus far. Whether you don't want to buy into it because he played 2 bad teams, I'll understand that. But if you just take what he's done, he's been phenomenal. And it looks like the addition of Diggs, while I doubted it early on, seems to be a heck of an addition. He had 8 catches for 153 yards and a touchdown on 13 targets. So
he's happy about that.
Who's that?
You know Diggs is happy about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he I'm sure he's looking back at Minnesota laughing his keister off. But, I mean, they got 2 speed guys with Smoke Brown and Diggs, and then Beasley, who's a route-running machine. They're pretty good. So I think I buy them to them a little bit more than you do, but we'll see when they start playing some. They got a tough one this week in the Rams.
Yeah, and wait till they play the Patriots and get swept by them. Just saying.
I'm not agreeing there either. But let's move on to the sad game. I mean,
the saddest game in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a 49ers fan, they go into New York, they beat the Jets 31-13 in an absolute blowout. But I heard they lost 5 starters.
2 defensive linemen back-to-back plays blow out their ACL. I tell you what, man, if I'm the 49ers, I'm not playing another down on that field. That's sticky new turf. If you watch both of those plays, specifically for the defensive linemen, you can see how their feet, the turf was especially sticky. I mean, the way that it bent and their feet were not sliding at all. There was no give. They got to play in that field again this week. I'm not touching it.
Absolutely. And it's ridiculous. I don't understand why all fields are not held to a higher standard. People said that it passed the pregame inspection. So what? That says
some ref came out there and kicked his foot around on it? What's a pregame inspection?
That says that the inspection isn't thorough enough. I mean, we've seen this a lot of times across the league where fields are just not in good enough shape, whether they're being overused or not maintained properly. I don't know what the cause is, but these players should not be going out there. Look what the Ravens did. They went to all grass everywhere. And knock on wood, their injuries have declined drastically. Of course, I make my dogs bark by knocking on wood. But yeah, so I think that they should have a more stringent test to make sure these fields are playable. And I know there's a lot of money invested into it, but if the fields aren't up to standard, then you just can't play. But
Yep.
I feel bad for the Niners. They had Super Bowl aspirations. I don't know how they still do after losing all those starters, key players. I mean, best offensive and best defensive players are down. That's just devastating. And yeah, it's just sad because the Jets, it looks like the New York teams will be fighting for number 1 overall pick, because I don't know who's worse between the Jets and the Giants, but they're both pretty terrible.
Well, if I'm the Niners, I'm going to join them in that fight and go get Trevor and get out from under Jimmy.
Jimmy was a warrior in that game. He finished that game on one leg.
Yeah, but moving forward, you wouldn't want Trevor Lawrence moving forward. Sit him for a year or two.
They invested way too. No, I like Jimmy G. I buy into Jimmy G. He was big in big moments. I love his quick release. I like Jimmy G.
All right. Keep on loving Jimmy G.
And let's be honest, they're not going to come anywhere near the number 1 overall pick.
Of course
the New York
they're
teams
not. They're
will.
too good. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And the Bills. No, I'm kidding. That was No, I'm kidding. All right. So let's move on to the next one. Another sad team. The Rams and the Eagles. The Eagles are absolutely terrible. The Rams beat them 37-19. I had high hopes for the Eagles this year and Carson Wentz. I thought he was going to have a real bounce-back season. Got him some weapons. His offensive line looked great going into the season, but obviously, due to injuries and other things, he's not playing well. I think right now, statistically, he's the worst starting quarterback in the NFL, if not close to it. So, we agreed on that game. We both picked the Rams, unless I'm mistaken here.
No, you're right. And the Rams look great. The Rams, I think a lot of people were sleeping on them coming into this season. Obviously, when you talk about elite players at all tiers, I mean, they got it on both sides. I mean, there's no better defensive lineman in the league than Aaron Donald, and there might not be a better corner, although us in Baltimore might argue that, but there might not be many better corners, I'll say that, than Jalen Ramsey. So they're playing really well, and they're going to be a tough team for the Bills this week, even though they do have to do back-to-back full west to east coast road trips. So that could be tough. So we'll keep an eye on that. But Rams look good. Eagles look like they're in for a long haul.
I'm excited for the next one.
Yeah, I am too, because I got some steam to blow off here.
Good.
Because the Broncos go down to the Steelers 26-21. But more importantly, another team ravaged with injuries. Drew Lock goes down. Sutton comes back, but he quickly goes down. I believe he's lost for the year.
Yep.
We already know about Vaughn. Philip Lindsay forced to miss this game, so they were already banged up. But, man, they gave the Steelers all they could handle. And who is this they had in? Why am I blanking on his name?
Driscoll.
Yeah, Jeff Driscoll comes in, and he started moving the ball. Honestly, I think the best thing that may have happened to the Broncos was that Drew Lock got hurt, because he was 1 of 5 for 20 yards before he got hurt. Jeff Driscoll comes in, goes 18 of 34 for 256, 2 touchdowns, and the pick. But, man, even though the Steelers won this, to me, if I'm another AFC North foe, I'm feeling pretty good about taking on the Steelers this team, despite the fact that they're 2-0.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mentioned that the who did I say was the worst 2-0 team?
The Bears.
Yeah, the Bears. I'm not going to go there with Pittsburgh because they have a great defense, but I don't believe in
that
Pittsburgh.
Great defense was getting shredded by Jeff Driscoll.
And you know what? It just got worse because the Broncos just got Blake Bortles, baby.
Oh,
no, I'm totally kidding. That was a joke. I hope he rides the bench and Driscoll gets to show out, because I think he earned another chance to start. Like you said, he went in there, fought hard.
Oh, he's
did
not
as well as he could. Think about how he took 0 snaps with first team this week. You know what I mean? Very limited preparation, and he came in there and like you said, played really well. But yeah, I'm not a believer in Pittsburgh yet. I'm not, as in, people are already putting them in contender status. I think I saw a power ranking that they were 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, above the Ravens in a lot of them.
Yeah,
or in some of them, not a lot, some.
It's funny because I think that. Okay, so I'm just going to quick aside here. People that commit cybersecurity crimes are held to a high standard, right? They get put in prison. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
People that defend cybersecurity attacks from happening and are negligent and stupid, they lose their job when they get attacked. But that's it. They're not held to any other standard. I'm sorry, dude. You have a duty to protect and to serve.
Yeah.
And look, It's just
Where are you going with this?
I'm gonna tell you
Okay.
where I'm going with this here.
All right.
What I'm trying to say is that those people that say that the Steelers are contenders when they are not, you should be held to a standard because you put stuff out there. People trashed me for my take last year, the Browns.
Yeah.
And this year, both times it's turned out to be okay.
Yeah.
But you should be held to this a standard when you are a national media member, when you make takes like that. Don't make the Steelers a contender.
Well, I mean, they could come out and say I was dead wrong about that early on, and
do it publicly.
All right. We'll see about that. But yeah, Steelers get the win. They go to 2-0, and Denver goes to 0-2. So moving on, the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Carolina Panthers 31-17 in a game where we saw the Bucs jump out to a 21-0 lead. Then the Panthers came up and got real close, and then the Bucs kind of pulled away at the end. So what were your thoughts on Tom Brady leading the Bucs to their first W?
Yeah, I think it was all about Leonard Fournette. The only thing I think about in that game is that 35-yard pass, that flea flicker that Brady couldn't even get there. That thing died in the air.
Listen to
Did you see the play? That should have been 7.
Okay. All right.
It was a bad throw. I mean, it was awful. I'm shocked to see that out of Tom because, I mean, he's always had a pretty ball.
He's 500 years old. Is that really shocking?
Well, because he's always had a pretty ball. To me, like, shoot, Brett Favre was in the stands. I bet you Brett Favre would have whipped that thing out there because Brett's got a whip.
But Brett will admit he's got 1 or 2 in him, but he ain't throwing the ball 20 times. That shoulder will fall. He threw it 35 times, Tom Brady did.
I'm just saying that I was shocked by that ball. That doesn't seem to be characteristic with Tom Brady. But overall,
well, look, the old quarterbacks are looking old.
We'll get into
another one. We'll get into another one a little bit later.
Yeah, overall, I mean, I was expecting them to win. Not a great Panthers team, so I wasn't too surprised. But I'm still not convinced. I don't think they're making the playoffs.
All right, fair. I like what I think Fournette's getting ready to show out over in Tampa. I think I don't buy into Ronald Jones whatsoever. I think he got the bulk of the carries week 1 just because he was there longer. But Leonard Fournette's about to take over. And then the Panthers, feel bad for McCaffrey. He's banged up. Another superstar getting injured. You never want to see that. But, man, that defense for the Buccaneers is no joke. And that is why, Jimmy, they will easily get into the playoffs because their defense will help them when they need it. They have the number 1 rushing defense in the league since last season started. It's not just Tom, okay? He's got help, all right? So unless you want to, we can move on from them, but I know you got a little bone to pick over there with Tom, but,
but Gronkowski's not – I mean, he hasn't shown up yet.
They don't need him. They got Brait, they got O.J. Howard, they got plenty of tight ends.
I'm still upset at Madden that they ranked him, that they gave him a better rating than Lamar Jackson.
95 overall.
Jeez, it was. But anyway, we can move on. The next game that we disagreed on, this is a good one. Mm-hmm. You went out on a limb and took the Jaguars over in a divisional matchup against the Tennessee Titans. The Titans squeaked one out here.
Barely.
33-30. First time in franchise, not in franchise history, sorry. First time in a significant amount of time, I want to say since like 2006 or something like that they started out 2-0.
2008, yep.
Or 2008. Okay, there you go. Also, I'm not a believer in their 2-0 record.
No.
Both of those games, they looked awful to me, and they beat subpar opponents. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, I mean, I'm not surprised that they won. Any takeaways for you?
Yeah, I mean, Gardner Minshew continues to impress me. I would say for the Titans, Jonnu Smith is breaking out and becoming
happy about that one?
I am.
Just a little?
I'm happy because he's on my team, and I'm also happy because the Jaguars covered with my 3.5 that I got. So I was happy to see that. A couple of hounds. But you did lose this one. I didn't lose this one. I got 3.5 points. So
no, you lost this one against me.
Oh, the pick'em. Right.
Important
I picked the Jags to win straight up. Yeah, so obviously if I was going to get points, it worked out. But, yeah, I think the Jaguars are better than we thought going into this year, obviously, and I think the Titans are a little worse, but they're 2-0. So, look, they were only 9-7 last year, and they got in the playoffs, and look what they did once they got there. So, 2-0, shout out to them. Moving on to the next one, we have the Cardinals beating the Washington football team 30-15, doubling them up. Yep. Kyler Murray has now 3 rushing touchdowns in the first 2 weeks. What are your thoughts about this one?
I love it. I'm really glad he incorporated that more into his game. That was something I had talked about and considered, him needing to do. I felt like he started doing it at the end of the season last year, a little too late for them to at least like contend for a playoff spot. But then, I like to see him carrying that into this year. And I think D-Hop had 7 receptions. He has 21 receptions in 2 games. Pretty incredible. I'm a believer in the Cardinals.
I am too. I think they got a good defense. We know about that offense. I think they could make some serious noise. Nobody wants to play this team. Nobody.
Yeah, and I also think that is there any chance that we see Alex Smith this year for the Washington football team?
I hope not. I don't see the point. I think you ride it out with Haskins because if not, if you bench him, you could damage his confidence forever. And what does it really help? You're a bad team. You knew going into this year. It's not like expectations were high. So I think you ride it out with him, see what happens. But yeah, moving on, we have the Ravens beating the Houston Texans 33-16 in a game in which I think a lot of people were expecting more, but when you look at the final score, it was a blowout. So what are your immediate? Now we're going to do a more thorough and more. Actually, we already did our thorough.
We already did.
That's right. We already
did. So check it out.
Yeah, check it out if you want to see it. But yeah, anyway, I guess we'll just move on from that one.
Yeah. Check out our video. But the Ravens, I think I agree with you. We're a little spoiled, and we're expecting. I think the best way to put it, we're expecting a little bit more fireworks from the offense.
Yes.
And we won this game in a different way, which at the end of the day, and I don't have time to mull it over, is a good thing for us moving forward.
No doubt.
And shout out to Gus Edwards.
And by the way, Baltimore has now won 5 consecutive games by 16 or more points.
And 13 regular
season games.
13 regular season games in a row.
Incredible. All right, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Squeak one out.
Butker had to make that damn field goal 18 times, but he did it no matter how far away they want him to go. And, yeah, they win in a game that the Chargers, man, gave him everything they could handle. And Justin Herbert, there's no way Tyrod goes back in there, right?
Yep. Anthony Lynn loves himself some Tyrod.
Why?
He said there's no controversy. If Tyrod is healthy, he will play.
Some coaches are just too freaking stubborn, man.
Yep, and I'm with you 100%. I think Herbert needs to go out there, needs to play, needs to get some I think he's better for them now and the future. I think he needs the reps. Get him out there. You have nothing to lose, I don't think.
Unless you just were playing for a draft pick, then yeah, by all means, put Tyrod out there. But we know what Tyrod is. He cannot he refuses to push the ball down the field and refuses to try and put points on the board, where Justin Herbert just threw for 311 yards and a touchdown with backup reps all week.
Right. So we agreed on that one as well. All right. So our next one, this was, I think, probably the most entertaining game of the week was, I don't know, this one and the Monday night game. They were both good. The Patriots-Seahawks game came down to a goal line stand by the Seahawks. The Patriots would have won that game if they got in the end zone. Great play by Jamal Adams there. And that's why they brought him there. But I tell you what, Cam Newton is all the way back.
I was so wrong about Cam Newton.
Hold
on. Let me just formally apologize. Cam, I'm sorry, man. I was wrong. And Julian, I'm sorry, man. I was wrong.
I want you to say one thing. Can you say that I was right?
Yes, you were right, Jimmy. You were right. I was wrong. Cam Newton, I love the way he's throwing the ball. He's getting behind it. He's throwing with his lower half. He's got zip on that ball. Obviously, we know what he can do with his legs. But, man, Edelman, this guy was the only one that could get open consistently, and he was running himself to complete exhaustion, but still making every play that was necessary. Shout out to both of those guys in a losing effort. But let me move on to the other side because Russell Wilson is incredible, Jimbo. He throws a pick six, like his first throw of the game. But then after that, I think he was perfect. Like, it's hard to I think he was absolutely perfect the rest of that game. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable talent. I think he's definitely the leader right now. You talked about MVP. To me, he's the leader in the clubhouse right now at MVP. He was 21 of 28, 288 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, and he added 39 yards on the ground. Incredible. And that game,
he's
to
my
me,
MVP
was
right
one of the
now.
best in a while. Yeah, he's definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even a lot. I love Lamar Jackson to death, but yeah,
Russ. Still time.
Yeah, it's still time. There you go. But yeah, that was an awesome game. Glad to see that Cam is back. I think that they are clearly better without Tom Brady. Not regretting him walk out. Not regretting letting him walk out.
They're 1-0. They were 2-0 this point last year. All right, moving on.
They're better. Come on.
I don't think so. I'm not willing to say that yet. Remember, they were like 8-0 last year with the Patriots with him. All right. Anyway, the Raiders 2-0, beating the 1-1 New Orleans Saints 34-24 in a game that, man, Derek Carr looks like he's going in this direction with his trajectory, and here comes Drew Brees. I mean, it was bad. After the first 20 scripted plays, it got so bad for Drew Brees and that offense. And it's like, did they miss Michael Thomas this much, or is this just a sign of things to come even when he is back?
Yeah, I think it's both.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's both. The other thing I'll say, too, is that, man, Darren Waller, I really hope – I worry, and this is not – I'm not making light of the situation. I'm being completely honest. I worry about that transition to Vegas for him more than anyone.
Oh, right.
Because of his demons in the past. Yeah. And I hope this kid stays strong, stays prosperous, stays sober, because it is awesome to watch him play football. Yes. I mean, I think right now, I love Mark Andrews, but he might be the best tight end right now. He might be the most unguardable tight end because of
that's the way to put it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? His height,
biggest mismatch.
Yeah, his height and speed combination and mobility is incredible.
I agree 100%.
I was happy to see him, and of course, everyone says, "Well, too bad he's not in Baltimore," and of course, too bad he's not in Baltimore. But I love to see him prosper.
Yeah, a former Raven. And, yeah, man, it would have been nice to have him and Andrews. But, yeah, shout out to him and shout out to the Raiders going 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great one to see. Chucky got the team. I don't know if you saw the postgame all riled up in the postgame. I
love Chucky, man.
See it too.
Yeah.
But he's about to get a fine for not wearing that mask.
Yes, he is. 100,000.
Yep. So let's get into a couple national headlines that we had looming out there if you have any other ones real quick. Obviously, we talked about the injuries. Are there any? I just want to leave space here. Are there any other national talking points that you want to mention? I think you brought up a good one. Joe Burrow looks legit. He looks like the better quarterback of the two between him and Baker. Any other news you want to talk about here?
I mean, we pretty much touched on it all. The Rams, to me, are real deal. You can't overlook the Rams. They look really, really good. And, yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much touched on everything, though.
All right, football's getting good, guys. I hope you're as excited as we are. My gosh, I can't wait for week 3. Make sure you guys subscribe, like Glenn said at the beginning. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss it every time a video comes out. And as he said, if you want to interact more with us, check out the Patreon link in the description below. There's options so you guys can interact with us and partake in the show more. We're going to have Tony Thornton, one of our patrons, on the show tomorrow or Thursday evening. So we're really excited about that. You guys have that same opportunity as well. So we look forward to hearing from you and speaking with you more. But without anything else, we are out.
See you.